Hey guys, welcome to this video. As you can see, I'm standing in front of a Smith's supermarket store, and honestly, saying those two things together is kind of weird because in America we say grocery store. This is a very common grocery store here in Utah. It is windy as you can see, but we're about to head in and look at the prices of food here in Utah. From what we've heard, there's been some major price increases. We know that there's been inflation everywhere around the world, but from what we've heard, some of these prices are quite staggering. Although milk in Germany is more expensive, we were still very surprised to see how much cost here in Utah. So by far the biggest price increase comes with the eggs here. Both of these are actually cheaper in Germany than we're seeing in the States.
A very surprising difference.
Unfortunately, right now we're looking at the bread section. It is very sad compared to those in Germany.
I never would have noticed this before living in Germany, but they have raw herring bottled up here and they sell it.
If you know anything about Germany, you know that Germans really love their pork. So before doing this conversion, I just assumed pork was going to be cheaper.
All right, moving on to some of our favorite staples: potatoes, sweet potatoes, lettuce, cilantro.
One noticeable difference already compared to Germany is that before even making it into the store, there are two grocery carts just chilling in the parking lot. In fact, as we were pulling in, one of them almost hit us. Luckily, it was stopped by a cement barrier, but that's just a major difference. You don't have to put your coin in, get the grocery cart or anything. You just take it and have the responsibility to put it away. It definitely doesn't always happen. Let's go in and see what we find. So I walk in and honestly it's a little bit of a reverse culture shock to me. I'm surprised at how big this store is, and honestly every aisle is just huge. Like the paper towel, toilet paper area is like huge compared to anyone that I've ever seen in Germany.
All right, let's start out with some staples. So from a year ago, milk in Utah has gone up about $1 from $2 to $2.20 to $3 to $3.20 per gallon, which is quite the increase for just a year ago. But how does that compare to the price of milk in Germany?
In Germany, we decided to head into an Aldi's to do some price comparisons. Aldi's a very popular supermarket here in Germany, and its headquarters are located in Essen. So it was founded by two brothers, but it eventually split into an Aldi North and an Aldi South. We did some research online and we learned that internationally, Aldi South is called Aldi in America. So there are some Aldis here in America, however, there is none in Utah, at least that we're aware of. One really interesting thing is that Aldi North is actually Trader Joe's here in the US. That was really surprising to me because going into Aldi's, that's a place where we shop in Germany fairly frequently. It is very different compared to a Trader Joe's here in Utah. Just to give a little bit of insight as to what the difference is between Trader Joe's and an Aldi that we know in Germany. Not only that, but they focus on a lot of specialty items. So vegan, vegetarian options, gourmet foods, and other international items. In summary, Trader Joe's, at least to us, is quite expensive and there's just not a lot of options. So hence why we didn't compare an Aldi's to a place in Trader Joe's. We wanted to go to a supermarket that we were most familiar with, that we personally shopped at a lot when we lived here in Utah, and we think that's going to be a good comparison.
So like Risa said, we are comparing Smith's Marketplace here in Utah to Aldi's in Germany, and it's fairly comparable because Smith's, which is part of Kroger, is one of the largest grocery retailers here in the States, and Aldi's in Germany is one of the largest as well.
Okay, so let's get back to milk. As many of you know, Germans use the metric system. In fact, most of the world uses the metric system. Why in the world do Americans do it differently and use the US customary system? We honestly wish they used the metric system. It would be far easier, and truly it would have made doing this video much easier as well. So we're doing some conversions here and we're going to explain them along the way. But to start off, in Germany, you purchase milk by the liter. You can purchase it fresh in a glass bottle in the fridge section, or you can buy boxed milk that is shelf stable for a couple months. We compared the prices in Aldi and it was about $1.39 for a fresh milk in the glass bottle for 1 liter of the shelf stable milk. On sale, we're seeing it for around 99 cents.
So when converting from liters to gallons, there are roughly 3.78 liters per 1 US gallon. So to compare it, $3.19 for the 1 gallon of US milk compared to €5.26 for the same equivalent US gallon of milk in Germany. And if we convert that from euro to US dollars, it goes from roughly €5.26 to $5.61 for 1 gallon of fresh milk. It is worth mentioning that the fresh milk available in Aldi was bio or organic, very different compared to the States. And the conversion for the shelf-stable was roughly €3.75 for that same gallon of shelf-stable milk.
Although milk in Germany is more expensive, we were still very surprised to see how much cost here in Utah. One last thing we wanted to mention about the milk is when we first moved to Germany, I feel like we found shelf-stable milk for about 99 cents. Really, we were seeing that right before we left here. So when it comes to shelf-stable milk, in our experience, in our opinion, the prices have stayed fairly comparable. We're wondering, have you guys experienced that same thing in Germany, or are you seeing prices fluctuate?
All right, moving on to one of our favorite dairy items, yogurt. The cheapest yogurt that we could find, both compared to organic and non-organic at Smith's, was $4.99 for 900 grams of yogurt. Thankfully, 900 grams is printed right on the container. And if we converted that to 1 kilogram, which is what it was in Aldi's, that would be $5.54 for 1 kilogram of yogurt. And when we compare that to what we found for 1 kilogram of yogurt at Aldi's, it was €2.39, or converted $2.55 for that same 1 kilogram of yogurt. So a very surprising difference.
Not to mention, the yogurt in Aldi's is far better than the yogurt here that we can find. We quite like the dairy products in Germany. So by far the biggest price increase comes with the eggs here. So now we're seeing eggs at $4.50 a dozen, which when we left, eggs were probably like around the $2 mark. On the army base where Tanner works, they have a commissary, and there we're actually finding eggs for $2 a dozen. So it's quite crazy to come to Utah for us and to see that it's more than doubled for just a regular dozen. Of course, this is gonna be your cheapest egg. So if you're looking for pasture raised or cage free, organic, etc., the price increases. I was surprised, however, to see that the pasture-raised eggs honestly were very comparable in price compared to the regular normal egg. We have heard that some of these prices have increased, of course, due to inflation, but also because there's been disease spreading out. So there have been a lot of birds that have died, unfortunately, because of that, making the price of eggs go up. If we compare the cost of eggs to those in Germany, we found at Aldi's for the cheapest eggs, which they actually do it in containers of 10. So it's like rather than a dozen, you're finding 10 eggs in one container. It was €1.99. That was the cheapest one. We found a different one for €3.29 for 10 eggs, but they were bio or organic. Converting that to the US dollar, it would be $2.54 per dozen. So I changed that rather from 10 eggs to 12 eggs, and that was just for the cheapest kind. So again, $2.54 for the cheapest eggs, and the most expensive ones, the organic ones, were $4.21. Both of these are actually cheaper in Germany than we're seeing in the States. That kind of took me by surprise too.
The next item is bread. Now, we know that we're doing a big disservice to German bakeries and bread because it is by far better than bread in the States. But comparing what we would use for like American toast found in Germany to the US, we found that in the US it was roughly 19 cents per slice compared to just 5 cents per slice in Germany. So, wow, quite the difference.
Unfortunately, right now we're looking at the bread section. It is very sad compared to those in Germany. Yes, there is a bakery here on site. They make the bread, they make cakes and other pastries, but I mean, it just does not compare. Okay, there was a little more than I thought, but still just nothing compared to what we're used to. Even from like Aldi's, right? You have like a whole selection. You can like hand pick what it is. All of these are packaged basically in like a plastic wrap that you have to just buy a certain amount and go. I really like the option in Germany how you can pick how many rolls or whatever item you want to get. It's really nice.
I never would have noticed this before living in Germany, but they have raw herring bottled up here, and they sell it.
Now we're going to be talking about deli meat here. In the States, we found ham for $4.69 for 198 grams. In Germany, we found it for €1.79. Converted to the US dollar, that equals $1.91. If we price that out per gram and we convert the German ham to 198 grams, so it's the same amount that we're comparing, it would be $3.03 for the 198 grams. Again, in Germany, it's much cheaper to buy ham there than it is here in the States. However, if we do the same for chicken, a deli meat or a lunch meat, and we convert it from euro to US dollar, and then we find out the price per gram, and we convert it to be the 453 grams, which is what the package was that we looked at there in Smith's. I think that was like 1 pound. Then it ends up being $7.20 per 1 pound. So that makes the chicken lunch meat in Smith's cheaper than in Aldi's. Kind of interesting to see that one meat is cheaper, the other one is not.
And when comparing the price of hamburger in Utah to Germany, it was also cheaper in Germany. Next, when comparing chicken in the US, we found it roughly $3.30 per pound compared to converted $4.74 per pound in Germany. Now, there are likely many factors of why this is. One being that chicken is probably the most consumed meat in the US, that we do realize that a lot of European countries don't have like these massive farms like they have here, like insanely massive farms in the US. So that's likely to drive the prices down here in the US compared to those in Germany.
And with chicken, that was another thing that I was very surprised to see. Such a big price increase from when we left to now coming back. The fact that it's $3.29 per pound is quite astonishing to us. Now moving on, we're going to be talking about pork and like pork loin or like a pork schnitzel. That's the best way for us to kind of compare the two. If you know anything about Germany, you know that Germans tend to really love their pork. There's a lot of different pork dishes out there. Most of them are very tasty and delicious. So before doing this conversion, I just assumed pork was going to be cheaper. That ended up not being the case, which was, again, very surprising to us. If we look at numbers, it came out to be around $8.71 per pound in Germany compared to the pork loin chops that we saw at Smith's grocery store. They were $4.49 per pound. So not quite double in cost in Germany, but I mean, we're getting close. Quite crazy.
Next, moving on to bratwurst. Now, they are arguably different. The German bratwurst is definitely leaner. The American bratwurst typically has a lot more fat, and it's a shorter, fatter sausage. At Smith's, we found a package of 10 bratwurst for $10 US. So we're just going to be using that as our unit of reference. Comparing that to what we found in Germany, that same 10 sausages would have cost around $9.83. So very comparable in price. We'll leave it up to you to decide which one is better, an American bratwurst or a German bratwurst.
Yes, and just to clarify, we made sure we did it by weight. So the package at Smith's was 2.72 pounds, which is just a really odd number. So that's how we converted it. Just so you know, it was by weight, which should be the most accurate weight to do it.
And another meat to focus on, one that Germans and Americans love, although for different times of the day, salmon. Germans love having this for different times of the day, but especially when we were with our friends in Bochum, we had some salmon on toast for breakfast. Whereas in the States, it's typically looked at as like a lunch or a dinner, either a fillet or in a salad or some other concoction, not typically eaten for breakfast. In Germany, the conversion for 1 pound of salmon was roughly $9.03 compared to $10 per pound in Utah. Granted, Utah is definitely in the middle of the western US, so that likely has a good reason of why the price could be higher.
Moving on to mozzarella cheese. Now, if you're European and you go to a European supermarket, you're gonna find multiple different sizes and options of mozzarella cheese. Here in Utah, there's like one fresh mozzarella cheese, and I'm talking fresh mozzarella cheese. There's a lot of different shredded, processed mozzarella cheeses. You'll see that all over in the supermarkets. I feel like really anywhere in the world. But here we're talking about the fresh kind, and it just does not compare here in Utah. If we're comparing price, you can see here based on this picture, it was $5.49 in Utah. Now, when we were in Aldi's, I forgot to look at the gram amount, so I can't compare exactly apples to apples. I definitely think just based on my visual eye that the mozzarella balls that come in the bag are a little less than the 225 grams. However, they are a lot cheaper. Most times guaranteed it's going to be less than €1 for that. Can't exactly give you the exact price, but for sure there is a major price difference.
All right, moving on to some of our favorite staples: potatoes, sweet potatoes, lettuce, cilantro. For potatoes, ironically, they were exactly 82 cents per pound. Germans grow a lot of potatoes, but of course Utah is right next to potato capital of the world, Idaho, where Risa actually grew up in for part of her life. When comparing sweet potatoes in Germany, it was roughly 72 cents per pound compared to $1.29 per pound here in Utah. 50 cents per pound, quite a significant difference.
Not to mention, we're doing this around the holidays, and especially in the States, Thanksgiving just happened a month ago, and that's when prices for sweet potatoes go down. So I was quite surprised to see them at such a high price, and even more surprised to see that they were less in Germany.
Romaine lettuce, we saw in Germany 99 cents for 2 smaller heads or bundles, while compared to the States it was $2.99 for 2 bundles, slightly larger but still quite a price difference. And that's one of the biggest things that we've noticed is the price of lettuce and other fresh produce has been a lot more in the US. Next, cilantro. Really the one that we have the biggest complaint about in Germany is not living in a bigger city where we would have access to more cilantro. We love having this every single week, multiple times a week. In the US, we found this for an astonishing 79 cents per bundle, like a good healthy bundle of cilantro. Whereas in Germany, it's kind of hit and miss and it's rarely the same size. But we have found that some of the cilantro plants are roughly €1.39. Hard to compare head to head there given the location that we live, but definitely cheaper in Utah.
Yeah, and Tanner said astonishingly because it used to be 2 bundles for $1 or sometimes even 3 bundles for $1. So for us to come back, we're like, what? Cilantro is so expensive here in Utah now. Kind of crazy to see, although it's still much cheaper here than it is in Germany. And yes, there's probably a couple of you guys who will comment or have already asked. We have in fact purchased the cilantro live plant at times. We just travel a lot that sometimes it's hard to always keep it alive, but we do love that method and it is a great option to have when you're in Germany. Chips. This is something we actually don't really buy and haven't since we've really been married, but we were very surprised to see how expensive they were coming back to Utah at Smith's. On sale, they were $3.99. Regularly priced, it said $5.59 for one bag, which is completely wild to me. When we left, I want to say you could buy 2 bags for like $5, and that was kind of a normal deal. So peanut butter. Americans are notoriously known for loving their peanut butter, and we definitely fit that mold. We love it. In Utah, we found what's a very common size is 16 ounces or 453 grams for $1.69. In Germany, for a container that was 350 grams, we found it to be €1.69. So it is cheaper in the States, but not really a huge price difference. Nutella, on the other hand, now this is a product where there is a major price difference. And boy, are we happy that we live in Europe now. We get to reap the benefits of this one here. At Smith's, Nutella was $10.79 for 1 kilogram. In Germany, it was €5.72, or if we convert that, it would be $6.10 for 1 kilogram, comparing $10.79 to $6.10 for the same amount. Wild. And next to the peanut butter and Nutella is oftentimes where you find honey. So we wanted to compare. In Utah, it was $6.99 for a creamy, good quality honey. In Germany, most of all of their products are creamy and good quality, so it was easy to compare to one in Germany. We found one for €3.99, or converted to the US dollar, $4.26 for 500 grams. It's cheaper in Germany for sure.
So when looking at chocolate, we definitely wanted to find some Rittersport, but nowhere to be found in Smith. So we chose one that was another European brand, Lindt. The Lindt candy bar that we found was $3 on sale. We know we can get it for cheaper in Europe, but we don't remember exactly the price. We want to say around €2 for that same size chocolate bar in Germany, but help us out because we don't even remember it quite exactly. And the final one are gummy candy, Haribo, specifically the Haribo gummy bears. In Utah, it was $2.50 for 227 grams, and in Germany for that same package, it was only 99 cents. There you have it, guys. Makes sense. It's in the same country where it's made, but quite a difference for them.
Do you want to come over and say bye-bye? You want to come say
bye-bye? Thanks for watching.
Oh, and before you leave, you should show them your hair that you did yourself. Do you want to? Oh, when did you get those? Did you get them for your birthday? Yeah, Willa Jean just turned 3 years old. She's growing up so fast. And did you have a good birthday? What colors did we have there?
Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Pink? And did you dress up like a princess? And did you have fairy wings? Wow, it really was so special to be with family, to be with friends, and just celebrate our little Willa Jean.
Thanks so much for being here, everybody. This has been fun comparing the prices between Germany and Utah.
Woof, woof, look.
Woof, woof. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know if you're interested in any other price differences of things that we've seen while being back visiting family in Utah. We hope you join us for the next videos.
See you guys.
See ya.